searched many years on end. There was none that my soul could depend. My soul cries out for your presence in here. This very hour, for your presence in here. In His name I find, in His name I find, in His name I find the peace I seek. In His name I find, in His name I find, in His name I find the joy I seek. I have searched many years on end. There was none that my soul could depend. My soul cries out for your presence in here. This very hour, for your presence in here. In His name I find, in His name I find, in His name I find the peace I seek. In His name I find, in His name I find, in His name I find the joy I seek. In your presence I am free from the chain that has bound me. In your presence I am calm, waiting for the kingdom come. In your presence I am free from the chain that has bound me. In your presence I am calm, waiting for the kingdom come. In His name I find, in His name I find, in His name I find the peace I seek. In His name I find, in His name I find, in His name I find the joy I seek.
Okay, now, if you're as fortunate as I am, and I don't want to go left field, but I was able to, even before I was baptized and confirmed, to get the original King James Version Catholic Bible. That's before Martin Luther started pulling books out, tried to change a few words in the book of Romans, and was caught, how should we say, red-handed trying to move the book of James. At least you got to give the Catholic Church credit for one thing. They stopped him in time before he could pull the book of James or change any words in the book of Romans. That occurred either before or after he was excommunicated. Or if you just simply have a Catholic Bible, you may want to dig that out. And as we had done about over a month ago, there'll be questions, and you can write down your answers, submitting your answers to me at my YouTube video comments area, or just simply keep it for your own personal edification and records. So, today's lesson is In His Word, Bible Lesson Guide 3. How in the world did we get into this mess? The young mother and father stood weeping over the still form of their son. A short while before, he had been full of happiness and life. Now he lay dead, the victim of a murderer. In a fit of rage and jealousy, his brother had lifted the weapon that brought death to the first family on earth. Eve could have asked the same question that many other mothers have asked through the centuries when they have witnessed death and suffering. Why, God? Why did this have to happen to someone so kind and innocent? However, this mother could better give the reason for such a tragedy than any other mother, for it was through her own disobedience that the flood of trouble, sickness, and death had poured into the world. Everyone who has faced tragedy or the loss of a loved one can understand to some degree the following situation. I shall never forget the day my mother died. When I arrived home, her body had already been taken to the mortuary. Each of us, children, was stunned. Then I went looking for my father. I found him in the basement, sobbing and asking, if God is so good and kind, how could he take a mother who was needed so badly by her 7 children? As we all must grapple at one time or another with pain, suffering, or deep disappointments, we need not do it alone. The Bible has valuable insight for us, as we will soon discover. Question 1. With whom did sin and suffering originate? Look up 1 John chapter 3, verse 8. 1 John chapter 3, verse 8. Number 2. Who was the enemy who sowed evil where God had sowed good seed? Look up Matthew chapter 13, verse 24 through 30, and 37 through 40. Again, that's Matthew chapter 13, verse 24 through 30, and 37 through 40. All of the discord, sadness, sickness, death, and sin are the result of the work of the enemy of God. God does not tempt anyone. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempts he any man. James chapter 1, verse 13. Number 3. From where did Satan come? Look up Luke chapter 10, verse 18. Again, that's Luke chapter 10, verse 18. Number 4. What kind of being was this creature? Look up Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 14 and 15. Again, that's Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 14 and 15. The cherub that covers is a description of the angel that stood next to the throne of God in heaven. Psalms chapter 80, verse 1. This angel was one of the most honored of all created beings. Although Lucifer was created perfect, He made himself into a devil by trying to set his own will above the will of the Almighty. Number 5. What led to Lucifer's sin and rebellion? Look up Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 17. Again, that's Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 17. Little by little, Lucifer came to indulge the desire for self-exaltation. Though all his glory was from God, this mighty angel came to regard it as pertaining to himself. Not content with his position, though honored above the heavenly host, he ventured to covet homage, due alone to the Creator. The high honors conferred upon Lucifer were not appreciated as God's special gift, and therefore called forth no gratitude to his Creator. He gloried in his brightness and exaltation, and aspired to be equal with God. Patriarchs and Prophets, page 35 through 37. Number 6. What goal did Satan set for himself? Look up Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12 through 14. Again, that's Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12 through 14. Number 7. When the rebellion led by Satan reached a crisis, what happened? Look up Revelation chapter 12, verse 7 through 9. Again, that is Revelation chapter 12, verse 7 through 9. At this time, God could easily have blotted sin out of existence in one blinding flash. He could have eliminated Satan and the rebellious angels who followed him. If God had done this, however, the other angels and the inhabitants of the universe would have served and obeyed God out of fear of destruction. God wants our allegiance because we love him. Therefore, he allowed sin to run its course to demonstrate to the universe the consequences of rebellion and disobedience to God. Number 8. After he was expelled from heaven, who did Satan seek to deceive? Genesis chapter 3, verse 1 through 6. Again, that is Genesis chapter 3, verse 1 through 6. No longer free to stir up rebellion in heaven, Satan's enmity against God found a new field in plotting the ruin of the human race. The tree of knowledge had been made a test of their obedience and their love to God. The Lord had seen fit to lay upon them but one prohibition as to the use of all that was in the garden. But if they should disregard his will in this particular, they would incur the guilt of transgression. Patriarchs and Prophets, page 52 and 53. Satan never works openly. He used a snake as a medium through which he could speak to and deceive Eve and her husband, Adam. Instead of the happy labor God had given them in the Garden of Eden, now anxiety and toil would be their lot. They would be subject to disappointment, grief, pain, and finally death. Number 9. As a result of man's fall, what does Satan now claim as his? Look up Luke chapter 4, verse 5 and 6. Again, that's Luke chapter 4, verse 5 and 6. Adam was appointed the caretaker of this world to act in God's place as its ruler. When he was overcome by Satan, the dominion of this world was claimed by the deceiver of mankind. Read of the council held and the claim that Satan made that he had complete control of this world in Job chapter 1, verse 6 through 8. The sons of God mentioned here must be the unfallen representatives of other inhabited worlds. As the ruler of this world, Adam was called a son of God. Number 10. Who brings the suffering and trouble upon mankind? Look up Job chapter 2, verse 7. Again, Job chapter 2, verse 7. Also, look up Luke chapter 13, verse 16. Again, that's Luke chapter 13, verse 16. Number 11. Why does the devil work so viciously now? Look up Revelation chapter 12, verse 10 and 12. Again, that's Revelation chapter 12, verse 10 and 12. Number 12. How will God finally deal with this wicked being? Look up Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 16 through 19. Again, that's Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 16 through 19. As a hint, you will find your answer in verse 19. Number 13. How does Satan now attempt to disguise himself and his activities? Look up 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 13 through 15. Again, that is 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 13 through 15. Satan has gone into the religion business. He is the master counterfeiter. He attempts to counterfeit everything he can that God has commanded or made. He mixes in just enough deception to get men to worship him while thinking they are worshiping God. We must not let him deceive us. Remember, Satan tries to counterfeit everything that God has commanded or made. We'll be back in a brief moment.